Okay, I'm recording. Does anybody have any idea of what a timesheet is? Ethan.
It's a sheet that you write on when you start and when you end your shift.
Okay, so it is a sheet that details when you begin / end a work shift. Do you think this is something that happens at part-time jobs? A lot of places, yeah. They expect you to be there at a certain time, and then they need some sort of proof that you kind of walked in at that time. A lot of places do. Anybody have one that they actually like signed in on every day at work to prove when they came in? Okay.
That's what I'm confused with.
Got it. A time clock and a time card's slightly different. Anybody know what that is? That's specifically like a system where you punch in and punch out. Usually you have some sort of like badge, or they used to have like actually old like card stock kind of cards that would actually punch a hole in your time card. But often they'll just use badge and computer systems now. So a timesheet is more like handwritten, I guess, or you doing it. And a time clock or a time card is more like a computer system or some sort of other system, sort of mechanical system. A lot of different businesses will always do the same thing, either round up or round down. Let's switch over to the worksheet now. I'm going to do some of it with you. Probably going to want a calculator for this one. You awake, Carter? How late do you sleep on weekends? No, I mean like when you like get to your own devices and you're allowed to sleep as late as you want. Hands up if you have slept past noon recently. Past 1? 2? Wow, 3?
I didn't sleep at all last night.
Wow, that's also weird. Okay.
The latest I've ever stayed up was 6 in the morning.
Yikes.
And that
It
was
is-
when I was young, and it was also on a school day.
Ugh. It is nerve-wracking when you are playing games or something like that, and all of a sudden, like, light is coming in your windows, and you're like, oh no.
Yep.
This is a bad
That's what happened.
choice.
That's what happened.
All right.
I was like,
So let's look at the first one that says Meyer. Now, this is important, so everybody write this down. It says that we're supposed to be, well, not write it down, but circle it. It says we have to round down to the nearest quarter hour. Usually businesses will always round up to a quarter hour or round down to a quarter hour, depending on if you are paid hourly. If you're paid by salary, then usually they sometimes keep track of when you're coming in, but salary job is kind of different. So, for example, rounded time in, we're rounding down to the nearest 15 minutes, so that's going to be 7 o'clock in the morning. Do you see how we're kind of giving that person an extra 10 minutes right now? Okay. But then here, my rounded time out, what am I going to say for that one? 3:15. Remember, it's not the one that's the closest, it's rounding down to the nearest 15 minutes. So sometimes they get a little bit of an advantage, and sometimes they get something a little bit taken away. And then we have to figure out how many hours that was. All right, so first think about 7 to 12. How many hours is from 7 to 12?
It's gonna be 8 hours.
So how many hours is between 7 and 12, guys?
You know, that would be,
What'd you say?
you know,
Right, I'm talking about 7 to 12, though, everybody.
oh, 7, 12.
5, okay? This is why you can't just take 7 minus 3. 7 to 12 is 5 hours, and then from 12 to 3:15 is another 3:15, so that's 8 hours. and 15 minutes. Everybody okay about how to do this? Okay, remember you're rounding the time down. So this time right here, this 4:57, when's that gonna round down to? 4:45, so don't be confused. I know that 5 o'clock is closer, but in this system, they're always rounding down. In fact, on this whole worksheet, they're gonna be rounding down. We're gonna jump to number 16, so don't be working on number 4 right now without me. Jump to number 16 with me here. It says Rob worked 6 hours on Monday, 5.5 hours on Tuesday, 4.25 hours on Wednesday, 7.5 hours on Thursday, and 4.75 hours on Friday. Fill in the timesheet, write the days and the number of hours worked. Okay, so let's see. Bob worked 6 hours on Monday. And we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday he worked 4.25 hours. How many minutes is a quarter hour? 15 minutes. I'm just going to write 15 minutes here to make it easier for me later. Wednesday is 7. Oops. I was wrong about that, wasn't I? I got my times mixed up. Hold on. What I just wrote was actually supposed to be for Wednesday. 4 hours, 15 minutes. And Tuesday was 5.5 hours. That's 5 hours and 30 minutes. And then Thursday was 7.5 hours, 7 hours and 30 minutes. And Friday is, what's 3/4 hours, guys? 45 minutes. Okay. So on A it says fill in the timesheet, write the days and the number of hours worked, which I did. And then it says how many total hours did Rob work? Let's see, I'm going to take 6 and 5 is 11, plus another 8 is 19. I got 26, I'm going to write here for my work, 26 hours so far. And if I start adding my minutes together, I'm going to do it very simply. Everybody look up. I'm going to combine these two 30 minutes to make an hour, and this 15 and 45 to make an hour. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's plus another 2 hours, gives me 28 hours for Rob that he worked last week. Rob is paid, I might as well write that down here too, 28 hours. Rob is paid